Jurist. It's a corporate commercial law firm based in Delhi, Mumbai, and Bangalore. Today, my topic is private equity and foreign direct investment. I chose this topic because, first, this is an international platform where the delegates from different nations are here. And every country has a unique specialty to attract FDI, foreign direct investments, in terms of geography, culture, weather, available mineral resources, and the research and technology they are into. Secondly, the multiple significant developments happened in India in last 4 to 5 years. So it make India a very good destination for investment all across the world. So there's a key highlights about the country. It's Asia's one of the biggest market. It's second largest country by the population and the seventh largest country by sheer land mass. This is the third most attractive destination after the China and USA, and it's a home to about sixth of the human populations. So now I would like to tell you what recent developments has happened in India. The government introduced so policies to attract the FDI and to retain the economies. So India first introduced in 2017 a unified tax system called GST, Goods and Service Tax. This GST helped a lot in terms of getting good revenue for the government. Plus, it simplify the process of depositing of tax by the parties, by the individuals, by the companies. Apart from this, the India introduced in 2016 IBC, Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code. This was introduced to turn around the stressed assets. And the government introduced so many schemes like Startup India, Make in India, and the single window clearances for the entities. So all in all, there is no doubt that India is the favorite destination for the investors to get the profits, and because it's a big market, it's a huge market, and every business they want to sell their services or products. So we are providing them the biggest market of the world. Now, when any investor thinks to invest in India, when anybody thinks to come to India and to get the opportunity, to avail the opportunity to have the investment here. So the two things they have to keep in your mind. First is a entry route, and second is a business structure. So entry route, there are two entry routes to invest in India. One is an automatic route and another is an approval route. Automatic route, as its name suggests, the investors just start up their company here in India and do their business. They need not to take any government permission, any Reserve Bank's permission, any government permission. Nothing is required. They will just establish their company and start doing business. And most importantly, the 90% of the business activities, whether related to the products or services, fall under this route. Second route is approval route. The approval route, of course, as its name suggests, we have to take the prior approval. And because the government wants to take some control on some activities. So that's why government put some activities under approval route like defense, telecom, print media, pharmaceuticals, brownfield. So they put all these activities under approval route. It will take you a couple of months time. You get the approval and then you can start your businesses. And apart from this, there are a few prohibited services. Of course, these services are not allowed at all in India. And these services include gambling, betting, lotteries, atomic energy, business of chit fund, etc. So once the investors get to know, check that which route he is to adopt to do business in India based on their activities. The second challenge comes to which kind of entity he's gonna incorporate. There are two kinds of entities in India you can incorporate: the unincorporated entities and incorporated entities. Incorporated entity means you have to register your entity in India, and the status of that entity will become Indian resident. And whatever taxability applicable to the local resident, that will be applicable to this incorporated entity. And secondly is a unincorporated entity. Unincorporated entity, as its name suggests, they can work in India, they can do business in India as a foreign company, but they have to pay the more taxes to keep the status of the foreign company and do business in India. So under the head incorporated entities, you have an option to incorporate a wholly owned subsidiary. If you already check the Indian market, you have a control over here, you already have a clients here, and you know the market, then of course you can incorporate a 100% subsidiary, that is called wholly owned subsidiary, in which you have a full control. Secondly, you have another option to have a joint venture. Suppose you don't have the investor don't have the land, or they are not very familiar of this market, though they want support of some local entity over India, some local potential collaborator. Then of course they can go with the joint venture. But in both the cases, they will incorporate a private limited company. And in 2008, the Indian government introduced a concept LLP, which is a little bit similar to companies, but yeah, of course, they give you the more benefit, more advantages in terms of repatriation back of the fund. So under incorporated entities, you can incorporate a private limited company or an LLP. And now if we go to the another in unincorporated entity side, so there you have three options: the liaison office, branch office, and project office. The liaison office, as its name suggests, is for the licensing only. You cannot generate any income through liaison office. Liaison office is only for the purpose of promotion of your products here. You can it's a work as a channel of communication between the parent company and the clients here, but you are not allowed to generate any income. So some companies who are not at all aware of this market, they first incorporate the liaison office, they check the water level, and then they proceed further for incorporating registered entities. And after this liaison office, there's a branch office. Branch office, of course, it's a kind of similar kind of wholly owned subsidiary, but you can pay more of sort of taxes. There is control of the 100% control of the parent company, and it is treated as a foreign company. You will take the permission from the authorized dealer bank from RBI, and you work as a branch office. You can repatriate the fund back after paying 40% of taxes in India. And the third term is project office. When the foreign investors get some project, awarded some project from the government or from any private entity, then of course they will go for the project office. This is for specifically for that particular project you can do business. And after the project is completed, you will take an exit. So I have explained you about these three offices and all. So now, how you will decide which business structure you want to go into? First, the nature of activity, what kind of activities you are doing. Secondly, the period of investment. If you want to, you have the period of investment in your mind that you want to stay here for 3, 5, 7 years, then of course you will go for the branch office. And if you want to go for a perpetual time, then you will go for the wholly owned subsidiary. Tax consideration, yeah, you know, the tax consideration is higher on the unincorporated entity sides, because they have a status of the foreign company, so they have to pay the taxes of 40% as compared to 30%, 25 to 30% in case of incorporated entities. So these are the factors which you have to keep in your mind, the investor will have to keep in mind before they come into the Indian market. Now, when any investors comes to India to make the profit, to make the business, then the another comes into his mind that how to I repatriate back this fund. So in case of the company like the joint venture wholly owned subsidiary, which are the private limited companies, they can get back the fund, the profit in form of dividends, in form of capital reductions, buyback, and this Indian entity can have an arrangement with the parent entity for the royalties or the agreement for the fee and technical services, and they can get back the fund to their own country. And if we talk about LLP, this is a little simpler form. When the LLP pay taxes in India, and they can distribute the profit to the partners directly without any hurdle. And if we talk about the branch office and project office, after paying taxes, they can easily repatriate fund back. Yeah, I give you a brief about the business structure and the entry routes, how the investor can come and how they do business, and what are the business structure available to them as per their requirement or as per their planning to do business here in India. Uh, of course, because of the pandemic, not only the India, most of the countries suffered. And every country is now trying to recover from the pandemic. So India is also recovering well. And as per the government data, they are recovering in V shape. The data is coming from the high frequency indicators like GST, post tariff, rail freights, e-way bills, and these show that the Indian economy is recovering because the government is generating good revenue from those GST from these things. The government of India again introduced Atmanirbhar scheme to enhance their manufacturing part. They further liberalized their FDI policy. They increased the FDI limit into the insurance and telecom sector recently. And most importantly, India registered a growth in 2021, which was a very a bad year for all across the world of pandemic 2021, and India got the registered FDI from 81.97 billion. So we all are trying to recover from this pandemic, and we hope that things will get settled soon. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.